ידיד נפש, אב הרחמן, אב הרחמן. משוך עבדך אל רצונך, אל רצונך. ידיד נפש, אב הרחמן, אב הרחמן. משוך עבדך אל רצונך, אל רצונך. ירוץ עבדך כמו היד, ישתחווה אל מולדתך. ידיד נפש, אב הרחמן, אב הרחמן. משוך עבדך אל רצונך, אל רצונך.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is so wonderful to be here in a packed room. It is wonderful to see all your faces. It is wonderful to be together. It is wonderful to be creating sacred community together that can hold the heaviness in our lives and the lightness in our lives together. The words of the psalm we just sang, heart's delight, source of mercy, draw your servant into your arms. I leap like a deer to stand in awe before you. Truly, it is a heart's delight to be together. We are welcoming you whether you're here in person or joining us online. If you're online, type your name in the chat. Let us know who's celebrating with us. And we are particularly excited to celebrate this Shabbat with Max Goldfarb and Charlie Pasternak, who are celebrating their B'nai Mitzvah this Shabbat. And so we are going to invite them, along with their parents, Ann and David Goldfarb, and Rachel and Jeffrey Pasternak, to lead us in the lighting of Shabbat candles, which can be found on page 3 and 2.
Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled the light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle the light.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives.
Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
We now sing out to God a new song. Let us sing to God, the maker of all sure and strong. Lechu Neranana. Lechu Neranana. Welcome Shabbat with the words of Lecha Dodi that can be found on page 20 of your book. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat, lekavela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat, lekavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, ishmi'anu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, Hashem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat, lekavela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat, lekavela. Likrat Shabbat nechu v'nelcha, ki mekor habracha, merosh mikedem u'nisucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat, lekavela. as we welcome the Shabbat bride. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'v'tola, toch habonei ham segula, boi chala, lecha dodi, ligrat kala, pene Shabbat, nekavela, lecha dodi, ligrat kala, pene Shabbat, nekavela.
We remain standing. Based on what happened at the beginning of the service, I'm a little nervous to do this, but we're going to take a moment to greet the people near us, and when you hear the music, that's your cue to come back. But wish each other Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Can I get a little more in my monitor? I can hear me. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. 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 Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai,
Our next prayer, we're going to stay standing until we get to Shema. Our next prayer is the Ma'ariv Aravim, our prayer that thanks God for the beauty and wonder of creation. We're going to offer these alternate words, not found in your book, but found on the screen, that were written by Cantor Simmons.
I just want to teach you that part because I think it would sound really good. So let's try that. We go ba 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 bum. Try with me. Ba 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 bum. Let's do it again. Ba 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 bum. And then we go ba 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 bum. Try it. Ba 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 bum. And then my favorite part. Ba 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 bum. You got to get really jazzy on that. Ba 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 bum. So great. I know some of you know it well, but for some of you it's new. Let's try again from the top. Here we go. Ba 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 bum. Ba 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 bum. Ba 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 bum. The light is fading, the night is waiting for you and me. Let's rearrange the stars. The mystery lies in the color of the skies. When the words are on your lips, let's speak the evening into being. Ba da ba 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 dum, ba da ba 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 dum, ba ba da ba da ba da ba da ba bum. The sun's gone missing, the moon is whispering.
ascension commands my full attention. The sky provides a backdrop of purples and blues. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-dum, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-dum, ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-dum.
The light is fading, the
Night is waiting for you and me. Let's rearrange the stars.
Baruch atah Adonai, Amari Varavi.
They sound so jazzy.
They did.
Okay, page 33. Pray with me in the middle of the page. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated, except Charlie, who is going to come up and lead us in Ve'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלבתך בדרך ושוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיהם. אני אדוני אלוהיהם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיהם.
Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Page Michamocha, page 40.
Torah
continue with the blessing for God's protective presence, Hashkivenu, page 42.
With words on the screen as well. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, V'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim.
We continue now with the Amidah, which begins on page 46, and we invite Max up to lead us as we invite all of you to rise in body or spirit.
Go to the group right after. Adonai sefer taftita ufia gitehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Anorah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chatzdervot v'Imaot, U'Mevi Gila Livnei B'nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham V'Tzrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mehayeh HaKol Atah Rav Le'Oshia, Mashiv Harua U'Morid Hagashem, Mehakel Hayim Behesed, Mehayeh HaKol Berahamim Rabim, Somet Noflim Verofech Olim, Umatir Asarim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Yafa, Michamo Chabal Givrut, Umidomela, Melech Mimi, Umechaye, Umatzmiya Yeshua, B'nei Amana Talehayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mehayeh HaKol. Atah Kadosh, Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yehalelu HaSelah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated.
You can go have a seat.
Shabbat is an incredible gift. A gift to have a little breathing room in a world that can feel all too constricting. And in that breathing room, the hope is that we call ourselves or are called by Shabbat into presence, into awareness. Awareness of ourselves, our strengths, the ways we're growing, awareness of the gifts in our lives, awareness of the blessings and the beauty that surround us. And so as our blessing for Shabbat tonight, I want to share with you a poem called Blessing for Presence by the poet John O'Donohue. Awaken to the mystery of being here and enter the quiet immensity of your own presence. Have joy and peace in the temple of your senses. Receive encouragement when new frontiers beckon. Respond to the call of your gift and the courage to follow its path. Let the flame of anger free you of all falsity. May warmth of heart keep your presence aflame. May anxiety never linger about you. May your outer dignity mirror an inner dignity of soul. Take time to celebrate the quiet miracles that seek no attention. Be consoled in the secret cemetery of your soul. May you experience each day as a sacred gift woven around the heart of wonder. Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. We continue with a prayer for peace, Shalom Rav, page 60.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We take a few moments now for silent prayer. If you're not sure what to say, make a list of 5 things you're grateful for today. I promise it'll change your life.
Yihu liratzon imrefi vehegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri vegoali Adonai tzuri vegoali May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. Yihu liratzon imrefi vehegyon libi lefanecha Adonai tzuri vegoali Adonai tzuri vegoali
We turn our prayerful energy now to those in our lives and in our community and in our world who are in need of healing, who are in need of refuah shlema, a complete wholeness, whatever that might look like. Thinking of the people whose pains and sicknesses we see and we know, and also those in our lives who have pains and illnesses we may never know. Those who struggle with chronic pain and chronic illness, those who struggle with addiction and those in recovery, those who give care to ones they love. We are thinking in our community of Mark Archuleta, Sarah Astrich, Christy Barr, Charlie Berkowitz, Elaine Betcher, Marcia Block, Tori Brooks, Melba Berman, Eileen Sersonsky, Maya Creeder, Richard Ann, Barbara Fenton, Leon Finkelstein, Carol Friedman, Marcinus Goldman, Kenny Goldstein, Leslie Grant, Don Graubart, Chuck Green, Joyce Haufrecht, Terry Hazelwood, Christina Howard, Cam Hunter, Sarah James, Ashley Levine, Lawrence Levy, Betsy Lewis, Samuel Lewis, Janice Muscat, Amanda Musselwhite, Magdalene Pessin, Philip Pessis, Hattie Reese, Anita Reiner, Neil Reisman, Arlene Richman, Bernard Rosenfeld, Shirley Schnoll, Edward Simmons, Leslie Simmons, Roy Smith, Inez Taylor, Albert Valdez, Mark Vasquez, Lenny Weinberger, Rachel Weingart, Cindy Weiss, Yvonne Zients, Ariella Sharon bat Yafa Shoshana, Gelka Nechama bat Leba Chaya, Shana Yosefet, Yehoshua Matityahu ben Yaakov v'Prevachana, Yosefa Zazel bat Herschel v'Zelig, and all who are suffering with afflictions of body, mind, and spirit. The words of Misha Berach this evening can be found on the screen.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu yivarech ve'yirapeh et
This evening, we have not just one 80th birthday blessing, not two 80th birthday blessings, not three 80th birthday blessings. We have 4 80th birthday blessings. So I am going to ask all 4 of you to stand, Barbara and Raymond Kalmans, Michael Wolk, and Dr. Harry Rosenthal. Yeah. This is a beautiful crowd, a beautiful collection of 4 people. The Kalmans know about this. They always celebrate with Michael, but to incorporate also Dr. Rosenthal into this makes this birthday fun even just a little bit better. And there is a lot of history in this group. 2 of you met in college. 2 of you met at a Texas-Oklahoma Temple Youth Conclave. 2 of you met pre-B'nai Mitzvah. And there are 2 people here who are in the same consecration photo. Clearly, you have all been in each other's lives for a long time. And you've served this congregation and this community in so many ways for such a long time and found here so much love. And now you've come to celebrate this milestone birthday. How beautiful to celebrate together. And 80 is a particularly auspicious birthday in Judaism. We're told that the first time that Moses and Aaron go to see Pharaoh, Moses is 80 years old. Aaron is 83, so you can come back in 3 years. We'll do another special blessing. Come back next year. What the hell? This is an incredible thing. Moses' leadership does not begin until his 80th birthday. At 80, he is in his prime. He's just getting started. Pirkei Avot says that 80 is the age of gevura, of strength. And I can see even from up here that you've been working out, that you've been pumping the iron. Okay. But I think it's not only that kind of physical strength that the Mishnah is talking about. I think that gevura means the strength that comes from wisdom and experience, the strength that comes from having built beautiful families. Someday you're going to be 80. The strength that comes from having built beautiful families and beautiful community and seeing them grow and embrace the values that you taught them. I think it's the strength that Moses had, the strength of vision and values, the strength of character and commitment. So this is my blessing for you. May this be a year of growing in all these ways and reaping the rewards of your 79 years that have led you to now. May you continue to be blessed with health and happiness, family and opportunity. May we all continue to be blessed as we learn from you and continue to get to celebrate with you. And truly, may you go migvura ligvura, from strength to strength. And we offer you this blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
In honor of Barbara and Raymond Kalman's 80th birthday, everyone here is invited and welcome to join us for an oneg in the multipurpose room following services, generously hosted by Elise and Louis Kalmans. Happy birthday, Barbara and Raymond, and thank you to the entire Kalmans family.
This Sunday, December 11th, our amazing volunteer choir is presenting their annual holiday showcase featuring Broadway tunes. So come out for a joyful, free sing-along at 5 o'clock and stay for an optional dinner after, which is $15 a person. We hope that you'll come and join us.
We hope that you're not going to miss out on the chance to participate in Emmanuel's Journey to Israel this summer, May 27th to June 6th. It will be an adventure for all ages and stages with an opportunity to experience new connections with Israel, with some of the highlights being Tel Aviv, a Druze village, a magical Shabbat experience in Jerusalem, and more. To learn about the trip, you can find information about Israel Journey 2023 at the top of our temple homepage. And finally, we want to tell you that in just a couple of weeks, our Hanukkah Shabbat is December 23rd. Please join us for services at 6 p.m., followed by a Latkes supper. Remember to bring your Chanukiot and candles, and maybe wear an ugly Hanukkah sweater if you have one. Dinner is $15 for adults, $10 for children, and there'll be lots of fun included. In this week's Torah portion, we get our name. Jacob's name is changed to Yisrael because he is one who struggled with God and men and has overcome. And this name becomes the name of our people, B'nai Yisrael, the children of Israel, the descendants of God wrestlers. It's a little strange, actually, that we take our name from Jacob. Why not the children of Abraham, who was the first of our faith? Why not the children of Moses, who led us out of Egypt? Why not the children of David, Israel's greatest poet and king? But Jacob is different than all the rest. His is not a life defined by faith like his father and grandfather. His is a life of struggle. And so in this parsha, he wrestles with an angel of God who gives him the name Israel, the one who struggles. And we become the people who struggle. Exodus calls us Mamlechet Kohanim, the kingdom of priests. Isaiah refers to us as Am Leor Goyim, the light unto the nations. But the name that stuck is the people that always struggle. And the last few weeks have been a struggle for the Jews. The Jews are tired. It has been an exhausting few weeks to be a Jew or a person who loves a Jew, especially if you're on social media. The flood of hate and vitriol feels like it has reached a high water mark. Maybe not the highest it's ever been, but the highest in recent memory. It's been pouring in from musicians and internet celebrities who've empowered and emboldened the countless faceless Twitter trolls. Treading water in this tidal wave of macro and microaggressions is exhausting. It's tiring to keep being reminded of how many people hate us. And the question that I'm asked fairly frequently is why? Why do people hate the Jews? And one could write an entire volume attempting to categorize the many accusations that modern anti-Semites make and their ancient antecedents. In fact, many such volumes have been written. But I think the answer at its core is much simpler than that. People hate the Jews because to them we are inexplicable. They cannot make sense of us. They've never been able to. And people fear what they cannot understand. Think about it. A family grew into a tribe that grew into a kingdom, but it was a minor backwater kingdom, and it was often conquered by its neighbors to the northwest and to the northeast and the southwest. But a kingdom made sense in the ancient world. There were lots of those. And the Jews were a relatively minor player in other people's games of empire. But then twice the Jews were exiled. Not just conquered, but expelled from their homes. And yet somehow they managed to maintain a shared identity and a community despite living separately across multiple empires. When kingdoms are conquered and dispersed, they're supposed to disappear. But the Jews didn't just move their homes, but their Judaism as well. And wherever they went, the people around them would look at them quizzically. Who is this people whose community can be packed in a bag and reassembled in a new place? Who are these people who, despite being far from their homeland, despite no longer having a homeland at all, still stick together? Think of the very first anti-Semite, Pharaoh, who saw the children of Jacob living in his land and said, "Who are these people? Why are they different from us? What are their intentions here?" And because he could not answer these questions, he implemented the world's first, but certainly not last, systemic oppression of Jews, forcing them into designated neighborhoods, enslaving them, murdering their children. And ever since, people have been copying his moves. But I kind of get it. Never in the history of the world has there been a people who lost their homeland and continued to exist for 2,000 years. There is just no equivalent. In spite of everything, we survived. From the inside, it looks like a miracle, but for a certain population on the outside, it looks like magic, maybe even nefarious black magic. And thus, an anti-Semitic myth is born, whether it's the myths of Jews poisoning wells or consuming children or controlling Hollywood or the banks or world governments. All are essentially an attempt to explain how it is that the Jews have survived when, historically speaking, we are an anomaly. The children of Israel must have some secret. And we do. It's just not anything like what they think, and it's not a secret. Sometimes if you want to understand anti-Semitism, you have to ask an anti-Semite. We've heard too much from modern anti-Semites of late, so I'm going to turn to a classic. Nikolai Berdyaev. He was a Russian intellectual in the later half of the 19th century and the first half of the 20th. He left Marxism and became a Christian theologian and philosopher. In his book, The Meaning of History, Berdyaev writes that the survival of the Jew is, he says, absolutely inexplicable. The survival of the Jews, their resistance to destruction, their endurance under absolutely peculiar conditions, and their fateful role played by them in history, all these point to a particular and mysterious foundation of their destiny. And what was this destiny, according to Berdyaev? He says we are obsessed by the passionate idea of justice and its terrestrial fulfillment. In other words, we believe we could make the world a better place. He talks of the intense Jewish striving after truth, justice, and happiness. The Jews live in a constant struggle, striving against the suffering of human existence. Now, the funny thing is that Berdyaev means all of this as an insult. Maybe funny is not the right word. But he believed that this faith is in our power in the world is the chief Jewish delusion. He believed that suffering is not addressed in this world, but in the next. He writes that human pains and torments cannot be redeemed within the narrow limits of a single life and are rather fulfilled in another life. Truth and justice in this model are not the domains of humans, but questions that only God can answer. His philosophy says that suffering, evil, and imperfections are an inevitable lot of man, and the best we can do is just accept that. The Jews are delusional because they failed to do so. It's amazing that in his own anti-Semitic way, Berdyaev sums up an essential difference between Judaism and other faiths. Perhaps it's the thing that makes Judaism unique in the world. As Lord Rabbi Jonathan Sacks writes, the classic function of religion throughout history has been to reconcile people to the random brutalities of fate, the injustices of society, the triumph of might over right, the brevity of life itself, and the pains and disappointments with which it is fraught. All religions help people to understand why they suffer. Christianity offers the opinion that we suffer because of the fallen nature of humanity and offers the hope that human suffering might bring about eternal reward. In contrast, Judaism concludes that suffering is a part of living in a broken world and empowers us to try and fix that brokenness. Not in order to live happily in the next world, but in this one. As Sacks writes, justice, freedom, human dignity, equality of respect, integrity, and compassion are to be fought for here, not in heaven. Rabbi Sacks warns of the implications of Berdyaev's beliefs. This view of religion can make us indifferent to the world or reconciled to it. Indifferent because this world is not where God is found, or reconciled because in some way human suffering is the will of God for which we will be rewarded in the world to come. This is what Marx was talking about when he called religion the opium of the masses. But Judaism offers a third way, and it is the way of struggle. It is the way of believing that suffering is something to be resisted, wrestled with, reconstituted. Judaism rejects the rose-colored glasses and instead opens the can and starts to paint a rose-colored world. This might seem obvious to us, but that's only because we're used to living inside of it. In truth, it is revolutionary. And it has been the key to Jewish survival. It is the hope in a better future and the belief that we can influence the development of that future that has kept us through all of our journeys. Not in some distant time, but soon and in our days we could make a difference. Hope is the suitcase into which the Jews have packed their religious identities wherever they went. Hope is what has allowed Jews in times of great suffering to say, yes, things are bad now, but they can get better. Hope has allowed Jews to better their lives in the many places they have lived and to find joy and light even in history's darkest moments. And hope is the gift that Judaism has given to the world. Rabbi Sachs says that if you believe that truth, justice, and happiness are to be pursued in this world, then you must struggle with the world. Our models in Torah are people who argue with God. Abraham stands up and says, shouldn't the judge of all the earth do justly? To God. That is radical. It does not exist in other holy books. Justice belongs to us and not just to God, so we cannot stand idly by when we see injustice. We must stand up. This is what it means to be Bnei Israel, the children of the struggle. And there is no better exemplar for this than Jacob. He does not lead a life of faith, but a life of struggle. And he does not always make the best choices, but he knows he has an active role in his own destiny. When he is set upon by an angel, he holds that angel down and says, I will not let you go until you bless me. He wrestles his circumstances into blessings. Even on his deathbed, he does not give up hope. He wants his children to bring him back to the promised land. I may not live to see it, he says, but I know that you will. Berdiev struggles with the same question the Gentiles have wondered ever since the time of Pharaoh. Who are these people and how did they survive all this time? But Berdiev's answer I can get behind, even if he meant it as an insult. Judaism is a religion, not of faithful devotion, but of hopeful action. What matters is what we do while we're here. We believe we can improve ourselves, that we are not fundamentally flawed, but rather inexorably human. So we devote ourselves to learning and teaching. We stand up to injustice. We care for the stranger because we have always been strangers. It's not easy, this struggle. It's a burden. There's a Yiddish saying, it's hard to be a Jew. Or in the parlance of modern social media, the Jews are tired. It's tiring to be in the struggle. It's tiring to be inexplicable. It's tiring to be unique. But it's also our superpower and the secret to our survival. Rabbi Sachs says there's grandeur in this refusal to abandon the struggle, this sustained reluctance to accept the world as it is, conforming to the conventional wisdom, following the herd. Jews have always been pioneers of the spirit, disturbers of the peace. This is Jacob's gift to us, our drive to wrestle what is into what could be, to turn our suffering into blessing. And in these moments when I feel most exhausted, most exposed, it is this gift, the gift of the struggle, that gives me hope. Shabbat Shalom. We will continue now with Aleinu L'Shabeach, which is found on page 282. We'll invite you to rise in body or in spirit.
Aleinu L'Shabeach Ladon HaKol, Lateit Gedula Liotzer Breshit, Shelo Asanu Kegoye Ha'aratzot, Velo Samanu Kemishbechot Ha'adama, Shelo Sam Chelkenu Kahem, Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Vanachnu Korim Umishtachavim Umodim Livnei Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, page 287. Ve'nemar ve'haya Adonai Limelech al kol haaretz Bayom ha'hu yeh Adonai echad
Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, life and death. We take a few moments for silent memory. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing. Our hearts go out in sympathy to the families of John Beckwith, Shirley Landsberg, and Emma Jean Martin, who were laid to rest in recent days. We also recall the art sites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Dorothy Ablon Ross, Wilbur Roy Bill Beckman, Fanny Cohen Behar, Rose Tenenbaum Belsky, Gerald Berenson, Helen L. Birnbaum, Ann Blick, Rose Block, Abraham Bobat, Howard Bornett, Sylvan Brandon Gussie Brockstein, Babette Bergauer, Reba Cantor, Louis Milton Kaplan, Blanche Carr, Yanoff Kogan, Laura Stern Cohen, Max Davis, Robert Drew, Beatrice Dubinsky, Shirley Edloff, David Einbinder, Larry Ellis, Sidney Engelhart, Jerome Epstein, Arlene Feld, Nason Mark Feldman, Sarah Frosch, Ben Gates, Israel Gelfond, Jack Gelman, Gertrude Gerson, Rosetta Simon Gibson, Edith Gold, Anna Mae Goldberg, Celia Ruth Gomberg, Bessie Goodman, Rory Mark Greenberg, Francine Greenfield Rosenthal, Perry Edward Gross, Seymour Helfant, Sharon Goldstein Halpin, Doris Harris, Evelyn Etta Mae Hartfield, Regina Hockman, Edward Joseph Jody Hoffer, Celia Holste, Eva Engler Hurwitz, Rosalie Itzig, Dorothy Jacobs, Paul Josloff, Harry Kalmans, Ray Kalmans, Stanley Kaplan, Selma Summer Klausman, Ida Dropkin Klein, Edward Joseph Klein, Seymour Kovnat, Morton Cooperman, Annette Palin Larson, Ernestine Leon, Irene Oshman Levy, Bernard Levin, William Levine, Ann Levinson, Elsa Levy, Paul Lipnick, Rachel Lipson, Elizabeth R. Mandelstein, Leon Markowitz, Roberta Marks, Julian Alec Mattis, Meyer Mellinger, Sarah Mendelowitz, Irma Karb Nathan, Julius Nathan, Kay Newberger, Esther Noble, Norman Balfour Oshman, Selma Ovetsky, Jerry Perez Jr., Ida Pessis, Elliot S. Phillips, Jack Pollock, Eleanor Wolf Poplack, Hortense Porter, Seymour Rady, Maxine Mickey Remmels, Toba Root, Hillary Rose, Aaron S. Rosenthal, Louis I. Rosenthal, Della Stramer Rosenthal, Marvin Rosemarin, Evelyn Rausch Rubenstein, Edith Sazen, Edward I. Schiff, Louis Schneider, George Schnitzer, Harry Schraber, Arthur Schwartz, Robert Schwartz, John P. Sepper, Emil Sherman, Don S. Scheidler, Marion Siegel, Max Silverstein, David A. Slavin, Benjamin K. Smith, Patricia Sofer, Eva Sussman, Martin Warren, Lawrence Buddy Weiser, I. B. Westheimer Jr., Odessa Wexler, Cecile Wexler Schumann, Sam Wilk, Eunice Landy Wolf, and Marcos Woloski. We turn now to the words of Mourner's Kaddish and rise as one community for these ancient and hallowed words, page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'ama tivrach yirtei ve'amich malchutei, b'chayachon uv'yamechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'galav v'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach Leolam Omea Maya. Yitbarach, Vishtabach, Vitpa'ar, Vitromam, Vitnaseh, Vitadar, Vitale, Vitalal, Shmei Dekudsha, Brichu.
Shemei Dekudsha.
Shirata, Tushbachata, V'ne'emata, Tami Ram Be'ama, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shmaya, V'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Osei Shalom B'mromav, Huya Asei Shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, Amen.
Osei Shalom, b'imromav, hu yaseh Shalom Aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimeru, Amen.
You may be seated. We turn now from Kaddish to Kiddush, and we invite Max and Charlie up, along with their siblings and cousins, to lead us in Kiddush and Motzi. Don't drink it. Bless first, then drink. What? Grape juice. Okay. Ready?
Ready? Yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvrason ichilanu. Zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila lemikrai kodesh, zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, Shabbat Kodshecha, Be'ahava uvratzon, Hinhaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mikadesh HaShabbat.
L'chaim.
L'chaim.
And now the challah. Ready for the motzi?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, motzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
You can share that with your siblings and cousins.
Oh, you can give them the bigger pieces.
We conclude with these words, Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Let us build a world with love. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la. Olam Chesed Yibaneh. Ya la la.
Please rise for our closing benediction. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imutenu, our God and God of our ancestors, give us the gift of presence so that we can find ourselves even in troubling moments. Give us the gift of strength, and when we are in need of strength, give us models of strength to turn to. Help us remember that the power to make this world a better place, to make this world a world of love, lies not as much in your hands as it lies in ours. Be our partner in the work of building a world of happiness and joy and peace. We thank you, God, for the many blessings in our lives, and we say together, Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Join us at the
shalom.
Oneg.